Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Spellsy Stats Super Show. I'm Spellsy, breaking down champion diversity for the North American and European LCS. Champion balance and diversity has been a highly contested issue in pro play. Recently, Riot has boasted that 96 different champions were picked in this Split's LCS, but that number alone isn't the whole story. While 81% of champions are picked, only a small select group of champions make up the whole roster that we see in any given game. Let's break down where the picks and bans are going. Overall, there are 118 champions. Then let's cut out all the champions that are not picked or banned, and we're left with a pool of 96. These champions of course make up 100% of the picks and bans, or 3,574 total picks and bans. But if we shave off the bottom 5% of picks and bans, we're left with a much smaller number, only 43 champs. The 53 champions that were cut out were all picked or banned less than 10 times in the 224 games of LCS. Let's keep going to the champions that make up 75% of the picks and bans, which is now only 21 champions. This means that at any given LCS game, 12 of the 16 picked or banned will come from this pool of 21 champions. Now we look at the top 50% of the picks and bans, which is made up of only 12 champions. This means these 12 champions alone had more picks and bans than the bottom 106 combined. Let's keep cutting down to 25% of picks and bans, made up of 5 champions. And finally, the most picked or banned champion this split, Elise, who was picked or banned in 86% of LCS games. This means that Elise alone is seen more often in the pick ban phase than the bottom 77 champions combined. In fact, the top 5 champions, Elise, Thresh, LeBlanc, Kassadin, and Lucian, have seen more picks and bans than the bottom 81% of champions combined. The thing is, champion diversity is not even a winning strategy. In North American LCS, winning teams typically have smaller champion pools filled with the OP champions. Looking at this graphic, if Riot were to be rewarding diversity, the graph would be pointed up and to the right, not down and to the right. Teams like TSM and Cloud9 have been known for their smaller champion pool, with the attitude of play what is OP. For example, Xpecial only played Thresh, Annie, or Leona until the last 2 games of LCS, because there was no reason for him to play the non-OP champions. However, support is naturally one of the less diverse roles. Looking at the number of champions picked in each role, mid is the most versatile with 33 different champions played. Top is in second place with 31 champions. Bot lane, however, is less healthy, with only 19 different champions for supports and 15 for AD carries. In fact, the top 4 AD carries make up over 80% of the entire AD carry picks and bans, with Caitlyn or Lucian alone having more picks than all 11 other champions. Compare this to mid lane, where the top 4 picks only make up 50% of the picks and bans, with several highly contested champions like Kassadin, LeBlanc, Lulu, Gragas, Ziggs, Kayle, and Nidalee. Overall, while there were 96 different champions picked or banned in Season 4 LCS, the diversity is still small as we see the same champions repeated over and over again. Most games feature only 1 or 2 champions not in the top 20. If you want to see these graphics in more detail, check out the full article at ongamers.com.